Welcome back to Fear and Beer, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. Join us as we venture year-round into the fog.
Make sure you give us a like and a follow on your podcast platform of choice. Also, be sure to check out our YouTube page where we upload every episode in its video format, and maybe a few other surprises as well.
Make sure you're following us on social media to keep up to date with our newest haunted content.
I'm Nick.
I'm Seamus.
I'm Jamie.
December 3rd, you know what that means. HHN35 is right around the corner. Yeah, exactly. We are already talking about HHN35. And if you're thinking, did I miss some rumors? Did I miss some speculation? Did I miss code names? Well, I guess kind of on the code names, but no, we are not talking about any concrete rumors. We're talking about our way too early speculation episode. This is one of my favorites. We usually do this in November, but with the double wrap-up episode for this year, we broke it up to 2 parts. It just ended up getting pushed a week. With the holidays, it gets a little crazy. So we are finally getting to our way too early predictions. And I got to say, got a couple good ones on here, I think. And we did pretty good the last couple years. Obviously, we touch on a lot of things. I like to look at years, trends, what's coming out in horror, what has recently come out in horror, what are some things that have happened in pop culture that might influence any creative decisions. That's how I kind of narrow down these gigantic lists. And sometimes we're right, sometimes we're very wrong, but it's always fun to discuss and kind of see what we think may or may not be coming to 35 in 8 months, 9, what do we got for months? I don't know, till August, 9, 8.
About 8
Yeah,
months,
9 months
I
or
think.
so.
9 months,
Yeah, about 9 months or so. But yeah, let's dive in. Before we do that, however, I do have another beer. I'm about halfway through my Rachel collection. This is Free Verse. This is from the Virginia Beer Co. And this is a New England hazy. It's a 6.8%. And it's a tropical hazy. So it's got a lot of those fruity style notes. So let's see what we got. I got to pour this one out because it also says, can note, some naturally occurring sediment is normal and expected. So guessing with some, fresh, maybe not fresh, but actual pieces of fruit and stuff to get that really heavy fruit flavor and stuff like that. So while I'm pouring this out, Jamie, I'm just curious, do you have any, so like I typically make these lists or put everything together, but did you have stuff already on your mind about like some stuff you think for next year?
Couple things in mind. I didn't really make a concrete list or anything as extensive as you probably put the effort into, but I do have a couple things, yes.
Okay.
Nothing crazy. I feel like you honestly might already have them on your list, so we'll see.
All right. Well, I think what we can do is we'll just go through my list because I kind of organized it, and you'll see how I organize it once we get going. But if at the very end, if I didn't hit upon something you had talked about, then we can kind of go into that.
Perfect.
When we get there. So let's dive into this beer real quick and see what we got. Very, very hazy off the nose. Got a nice color. It's a little bit harder, but you can. Oh, I was gonna say you can see the filter in there, but it's a very hazy.
That looks like it.
But it doesn't taste it.
No.
It's pretty smooth. No, it doesn't taste as hazy as it would, but I definitely get that tropical, almost pineapple-y taste as well, which is nice. Refreshing. This would be a really good summer beer. This is great for July and August. So let's get into things a little bit. I started looking, because obviously this is an anniversary year, I started looking at previous anniversary years to see if there was anything that maybe was hit multiple times in regards to certain categories. So starting with HHN 30, and I only did the last 2. I did 30 and 25. I don't think we need to go further. Maybe because this is an anniversary year, a future episode we devote to diving into all the anniversary years, but that's not what this one is about. So I looked at the last 2 for sampling size. HHN 30 had 4 IPs. Beetlejuice, I defined that as a classic horror, and it has never been done before. You had Texas Chainsaw, which is a classic, but it is sort of like an HHN staple. They have that multiple times, and it's kind of a tried and true. You had Haunting of Hill House, which is a new horror, and it had never been done before. And then you had Universal Monsters, which that really doesn't come into play. Now, as far as originals, you had Icons Captured, so there's your Icon House. You had Case Files, which was like a offshoot of what I defined as like an HHN classic, something that has been in the history of Horror Nights for a while. Maybe not Case Files in particular, but the whole Boris Schuster detective-y style vibe that's been sprinkled throughout history in Horror Nights. And then you had the Puppet Theater, Tooth Fairy, Wicked Growth. Those don't really play as much because those are just new concepts, so not really a trend that you could find there. When you go to HHN25, we have An American Werewolf in London, which was classic horror. I wouldn't say it's a staple, but it had been done before. Not really a trend there. Freddy vs. Jason, that was a classic, and it's new-ish. We had Jason and Freddy, but we had not had that particular one, so it kind of fits there. We have The Purge, which came out in 2013, so we're talking about the year 2015, so it's only 2 years old at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a new horror first-timer, but this was also supposed to be Scream. So this was supposed to be a classic that had never been done there before.
The Purge was correct?
The Purge, yes.
Okay.
That was supposed to be Scream, and it got flipped last minute. So it was supposed to be a classic that had never done there before. You have Insidious, which at that point, 2010, it was like a new movie, and that was the first year. So again, new and first-timer. And then you had The Walking Dead, which was still current, but at that point had already been kind of a classic, and it's sort of a tried and true HHN. It worked. They've had it for years, so it makes sense. When we look at originals, you had Jack Presents, so there's your Icon House. You had Body Collectors, which is an HHN classic. You had Run, Blood, Sweat, and Fears, which is an HHN classic. And then you had Asylum 3D, which was a Scare Zone call-up. All right, so you don't have to remember all of those, but it did give me
putting a lot on my plate right now.
Yeah, but it did just talking it out as to like how I kind of viewed those particular houses. As far as IPs, we'll break it down a little bit. Like I said, you don't need to remember those. But now that I had kind of gone through that list and I had it in front of me, what I'm looking for in terms of IPs for 35, I'm looking for a classic horror movie that is new to HHN. It happened with Beetlejuice, and it happened with what was supposed to be the Scream. So we're trying to sift through classic horror movies that have never been at Horror Nights before. I'm also looking for a new horror that has never been, because we had Haunting of Hill House at 30, and we had Insidious/Purge at 25. And then we're also looking for a staple, like a tried and true, been there before, Texas Chainsaw, Walking Dead, something reliable that they can bank on. So those are the three things I'm looking for in terms of IPs. So I think classic horror is the easiest place to start, because I think our list is a little bit more limited. I had a handful of them. I have Scream on the list. Do you think, and we always do this in such a stupid way, we always say like, not likely, likely, or least likely. There's
I know.
No,
I was just gonna say no. We can't do that. I was wondering before we recorded this. I was like, "Are we gonna be doing the literally the likely thing?" Or
we could just say like if you think it is or not, yes or no. Very simple stuff. I guess we could do yes, no, maybe, which is essentially the same exact thing, just less words. All right, yes, no, maybe. Very simple. So Scream, classic horror, never been there before. This falls under that category to an extent, because there was one scene in a house years and years ago, but I don't count that. Do you think this would be the year for Scream? We do have a new Scream movie coming out.
Another one.
When February comes out in February. So do you think this is a year that they sift through the rights, they do what they need to do to secure Ghostface for us?
I mean, it's like I want to say yes, but I even feel like the last like 2 or 3 years, maybe we're like, oh, I think this might be the year for Scream. I think this might be the year for Scream. But I mean, And if you look at it in the sense of with the new movie coming out, I feel like, again, the last 2 years we've had a new Scream movie come out pretty much, or almost, if it adds up to it. But I'm just gonna go on a whim and look like a dummy if I'm wrong and say no. I don't think it's gonna be Scream.
Yeah, I'm kind of tapped out on Scream rumors.
Yeah.
We heard it a little bit last year, and it turned out to be a big fat nothing.
Yeah.
So I just can't put stock. This is me betting on the same roulette number and never winning. Every year it's like this is coming, and no whammy. So
we try to give you the benefit of the doubt, Ghostface, but I don't know, buddy.
No, and at this point, like even if it becomes a rumor, this is one of those IPs that will truly be a I believe it when I see it kind of thing.
Yes, I think so
Which
too.
I guess we got a lot of those last year. Terrifier, Five Nights, Jason.
Yeah,
I was like, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, we did see it. But so I'm not saying it's an impossibility that Scream will, Scream is going to be at Horror Nights, I'm sure, at some point. I don't think anything is off the table. We might be talking about this for HHN40, but like for now, for 35, I don't think enough dust is settled. I think it's still just complicated. I don't think they're in position to bring it to Horror Nights just yet. But maybe at some point. So sticking with classic horror, this is one that I would have put more stock into in maybe 2 years ago, but that would be Candyman. We had the remake in 2021, and Tony Todd died in 2024. So I would have maybe thought that it would be more likely one of those years. But again, it's a tried and true horror movie, but it's never been at Horror Nights. You think we see Candyman?
Again, I'd like to see Candyman more than I'd probably like to see Scream being at the event. But it's like, obviously you're talking about the new one that came out from Jordan Peele, right? You don't think we would get a original Candyman? Because I think the Jordan Peele one would be cool if they were able to recreate it.
I would see if I was getting this, if I had a choice of new or old, I would just take old. I would take the classic Candyman.
If I had the choice,
Tony Todd imagination style, like in his imagery.
I'm looking more so just because they already have that relationship with Jordan Peele when they had Us and stuff like that.
I would think it's more likely to happen.
Yeah,
but if I was free reign and I could pick which one, I would pick, 80s.
You know what, Candyman? I love you. Tony Todd, I love you too. R.I.P. But I don't think we're going to get Candyman.
Yeah. I don't think so. I put it in the maybe.
Okay.
But I could
put it in the maybe.
I'm not going to completely write it off. But there's been, there's no reason that it would happen this year if it didn't happen in those past couple of years. So if there's like a less than maybe, but not a no. Creep Show, kind of a classic kind of thing. I don't believe it's been there. I believe it was supposed to be at one point, and this might have been like a Hollywood thing. I remember seeing pictures maybe a couple of years ago of like the Creep Show, or maybe it was there. I don't. Yeah, something like that. But I don't think it's been at Orlando, at least in recent years. So I still put it as my never been there before. Probably should have checked that a little bit more, but
No, it's okay. I was going to say, I don't think Creep Show or Crypt Keeper has really been there since the early years of HHN, probably like the first 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and well, I know he was like the original or one of the original icons, but it's I don't think it was technically Creep Show.
No, I think it was just the Crypt Keeper at that time, or Tales from the Crypt. Am I confusing it with Tales from the Crypt? I'm sorry.
Yeah, but so I guess Creep Show was at Hollywood.
I don't know, we're confusing ourselves. I knew it's been at one of them.
Yeah, Creep Show was at Hollywood, I guess, in 2019. It was based off of the 82 and the new 2019 movie.
Yes,
but I don't believe it's been at Orlando, so that's why I'm kind of putting it under the never been there before.
Gotcha.
This isn't something that I'm super familiar with. It's probably been a decade or so since I watched the 82 film. I don't think I saw the 2019 version of it. You might have better insight on those than I do.
I do. I think it was based off the 2019, it was a series that came out, the Creepshow series on Shudder, they released it. If that's what I'm thinking, because I don't remember a Creepshow film coming out or being redone.
It might have been the Shudder stuff, yeah.
It might be the Shudder stuff, which, if that was the case, then that would be really cool. But yeah, I do like Creepshow, and I am pretty familiar with the original. I've seen it multiple times. I do think it would work at the event in past years when we have had rumors of Creepshow coming. I'm surprised it still hasn't yet, since it has been at Hollywood. So you know what? I'm going to go on a whim here and say, yeah, that maybe we will get Creepshow this year.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to say no for myself because I don't
That's fine, yeah.
draw anything from it. But yeah, this is one that I know you would hope would be.
Oh, ooh.
And that would be
man.
The Lost Boys.
I knew you were going to say that. They got an
Mhm.
anniversary coming up, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I forget the year of it, but that
Or
sounds
it might be
about
this
right.
year. Could be wrong.
I think it was 85, maybe. It's 85 or 86.
I think
So
Lost
if it's
Boys came out in
86, that would be an
86.
anniversary. But what do you think about The Lost Boys?
Obviously, I would be absolutely ecstatic to have The Lost Boys, and I think it would work exceptionally. It came out in 87. We're both wrong.
87?
I
Okay,
thought it
so
was
we're-
86.
So
Stupid.
maybe he had 36. We'll get it for an anniversary or something.
It's tough. I think I've looked into it before to see what Lost Boys is, and I think it might be Warner Brothers production, if I'm not mistaken. I honestly had it pulled up right here. I'm going to look at it again. So that's the only thing that kind of
Yeah,
always
it's
threw me.
Warner Brothers.
It is Warner Brothers, right? Okay, I was right on that at least. But that's the only thing that's kind of deferred me from really thinking it would ever come, because I was like, I don't really know how they would get that to work with the licensing and stuff like that. But I mean, we saw how they did it with Us when you had the opening scene where you kind of walk through the facade and then like you're walking through the boardwalk, and it was shot in the same area where they had that fictional
Yep.
house as well. So do I think it would come to the event this year? I do think they would probably do it more so when it would be on an anniversary or for the film or something like that, because it would be really random just to throw it in there. But obviously, I'm biased and I would want to say yes because I love The Lost Boys and I would want it to come. But do I think it will? I'm going to say no.
No.
Mhm.
I don't see it particularly happening. I think it would be really cool. I think they can do it.
Yeah, easy,
Maybe
for
one
sure.
year. You know, I'll put it as a maybe just because it's an anniversary year, but I don't have anything else other than gut on that one.
Mhm.
But let's talk about another 87 film, one that started a whole franchise, Hellraiser.
Okay.
Not at
Okay.
the event before. There's a bunch of them. There was a kind of a, I don't know if it was a reimagination or a restarting of the franchise recently. I don't know if it was like a Disney Plus thing. I never saw, it was a 2022 film, but it was on Hulu.
It was a Hulu thing, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Hulu, which is now on Disney Plus. I don't know. It messes with me, but yeah, this is a sort of, I guess 2022 at this point. It's not recent, but there's a whole bunch of them. That's for sure. It's a classic. Hasn't been there. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think 11 films if you count the new one.
What?
So it's definitely been
Oh my
around the
God.
block.
I
Yep.
feel like I've only seen the first and second Hellraiser.
I truthfully never got super into the Hellraiser franchise. I've seen probably.
Don't want to be a hater, but me either.
I've seen probably 4 or 5 of them, but it was just never something that drew me. When I dove into those 80s films, when I started to like get into horror, it was the slashers. It was Jason, Michael, Freddy, Exorcist, stuff like that. I wasn't Hellraiser. I always viewed Hellraiser, Chucky, Candyman kind of as like that second tier of that 80s horror. And I just never got super, super into the franchise as a whole. But Pinhead is a horror icon. You see him and you know what's up. You know about the Cenobites. Like it's a big part of those films. So what do you think about Hellraiser?
I do have to agree with you. I have to say that I don't really have that connection as much to Hellraiser as well, since I had already said I've only seen probably the first. I've definitely seen the first one all the way through. Don't even know if I finished the second one. But I feel like out of all of them we've discussed so far, I think this one could be, we didn't want to go with these categories, but the most likely.
Okay,
I could say that this is a new property we haven't had before. It's been rumored in the past. The people have I don't want to say clamored for it, but I have seen a lot of people talking, saying that they would like to see a Hellraiser house. And I think it could work with the different rooms and, the big, obviously, scene, whatever. I can't even recite the film well enough because I haven't seen it that much. But
No, it's
you know
been
what
forever.
scene I'm talking about when he's got his body strewn about and his face being torn apart. Yeah. And obviously, Pinhead and all the Cenobites would look super duper cool, all their costumes and makeup. So, you know what? I'm going to say yes for Hellraiser. Let's see it.
All right. I think I'm right in that maybe to yes category. I don't think I'm fully
I'll go with a maybe. I'm going to go back
committed
and
to yes.
Mhm.
And then I only had one more on here. So if you have any other classic horrors that you think maybe, we can kind of talk about those ever. But the other one that I had was My Bloody Valentine.
The original?
Sure. Classic
That would be
slasher.
that would
Hasn't
be
been there.
cool. Yeah, I mean, it has not been there, and I do love a holiday-themed house.
Could reuse the caves from Grave of Flesh.
You could you know what? Now we're talking. You could reuse the graves from Grave of Flesh. And I feel like, have we done a mine-themed, like, house before? Am I making this up? I feel like we've done something
They
similar of that
they
theme,
have in the
maybe.
past, yeah.
Mhm.
I
So, I
think back
mean,
like way in the day where they would actually give you headlamps to go through.
I do recall reading something about that. You know what? It's tough. I'm going to say for My Bloody Valentine, I feel like even though, I mean, for us, for avid horror movie watchers, we're very familiar with My Bloody Valentine, but I feel like it is more of a niche thing. Maybe I could see them going with the remake. I feel like that was pretty popular for the mid-early 2000s when that came out.
Say that
But
in like 04 or something
I was
maybe.
gonna say it had to been earlier 2000s, but I mean they could do the reprise of the 3D houses and make it My Bloody Valentine 3D.
That would be
I would
fun.
be that would be fun, and that I would be down for. But do I see it being a house possibility for this year? Unfortunately, not.
Yeah, I think My Bloody Valentine, probably not so much on this one, but are there is there anything else that stood out to you from like a classic not been at Horror Nights film?
Not something that hasn't been. No, not that I could think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, I was scratching my head just trying to like go through my DVDs and be like, all right, what hasn't been here? What's a classic? What's not? Like I think
Mhm.
these are all I think you can make a case for all these as being like a classic. They've definitely all had remakes at some point. So, is there one of those that we talked about that you think is the most likely out of all of them?
Probably Creepshow or Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say Hellraiser just edges out Lost Boys for me,
Oh,
for most
you got,
likely.
I like it for Lost
Well,
Boys.
just
You
because like I
really,
don't think Scream. Like I'm done with Scream.
no, I don't think Scream at
Candyman,
all.
I'd love it, but I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
My Bloody Valentine, not feeling it. The other three between Creepshow, Hellraiser, Lost Boys is called kind of like a toss up, and it's all sort of like different enough stuff that we haven't seen recently. So yeah, so that would feel like that classic new to HHN spot that we saw with Beetlejuice and we saw with what was supposed to be Scream. Oh, new horror. Like I said, 30 had Haunting at Hill House and 25 had Insidious and Purge. So something new. So I'm looking at 2025 releases and 2026 releases. So we'll go through 2025 quickly. And I feel like these are easier to say yes or no to. So kicking off the list, which I think is probably, well, the two at the top, I think are the biggest horror movies of the year. And that is Sinners and Weapons. Now, Sinners is probably going to be up for an Oscar. I would say it's probably up for multiple, where you're talking Michael B. Jordan acting, it's probably set design, probably original screenplay. Best Picture, obviously, is going to be up there. They're not going to win because they don't give horror movies the nod,
Of course
but
not.
it's a huge film. It was a ridiculous accomplishment with Michael B. Jordan acting in both roles as Smoke and Stack. Weapons, I don't think it got the same notoriety that Sinners did. I think it's not a better movie. Sinners is probably my favorite movie this whole year, but Weapons is really good. I really enjoyed it. I liked the storytelling of it. The cast was all over the place. You had Josh Brolin, Benedict Wong, I forget the girl's name, but Silver Surfer that was in Ozarks. Like she did great as the lead. What do you think about either of those two? Because I think those are the two biggest movies of the year.
Weapons, not a chance. Didn't like it. Need to give it another shot. Need to watch it again. I keep saying that I'm talking shit.
Was
I've
it
only
Aunt
seen it once.
Gladys? No Aunt Gladys?
No Aunt Gladys. No, sorry.
Be a cool
Um,
character.
yeah, it would have been a cool character if I would have seen her for the first time in the friggin' movie and not on Instagram because no one can wait a day to post anything. But Sinners, on the other hand, we know Horror Nights loves vampires. I love vampires, so I'd be fine with it, obviously. I think it would make a great house, and I think it has a big enough pull to where it would draw in a crowd, and I mean, it's kind of, I feel like Sinners was a horror movie. It was a vampire movie, obviously, but it wasn't so straightforward with horror and so much blood and gore and I think that's why it did so well and it got so
No, it was
well
like two
received because I
movies.
feel like
It was like a
yeah,
Southern Prohibition movie, and then it turned into a horror movie at the end.
and I feel like that's why more people see it and why it was so well received because it expanded to a broader audience, you know?
Mhm.
So, I mean, I could say maybe for Sinners, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I love, like I said, I love that movie. It's top notch. But for me, I got too many Darkest Deal vibes. Like, is it too soon? Is it too similar? I get it's vampires and not like, the
You know what?
collector
You're
and
right,
the
though.
selling your soul to the devil. But like the whole message of like music can transcend history, and it's just, I don't know. There's a lot that goes into the story of Sinners. That is it too much to smash into a house? Like it's you're gonna miss all the emotional beats. That's the cornerstone of Sinners as far as a movie is concerned, from in my opinion. Um, between the different histories of both of their lives, culminating back at the juke joint, like it's just the emotional aspect of it was so heavy. But then again, you could kind of say the same thing for Haunting a Hill House. That series was built off emotion, and I think it was a good house, but you were missing that part of it. I don't know. Um, I'd say no for Weapons. I'd say maybe for Sinners, but Weapons, it would make for, I think you have a better character with Aunt Gladys, but I don't know. Sinners is
What are you going to do,
it
though? Have a
just,
bunch of kids running around a friggin' house? That's the only thing. I feel like it would only take place in one spot.
yeah, it's all over the place.
Kind of. It is a little all over the place, but I'm just being
But yeah,
a hater.
you'd be pretty limited with what you could do, honestly. It would probably come off more as a comedy than anything, but
You
as
know
far
what?
as
It
a
probably
house.
would, yeah.
But yeah, so The Substance. This was another big one. Was that, I don't know if that was 25 or 24, but I know it was recent.
24.
24 tail end, yeah. But this was something that everyone was talking about. This is more of that body horror film. I still haven't seen it.
No, you need to watch it.
Yeah, I know. Body horror never like makes me rush to see it. I'm just like, yeah, I've seen it. I've seen Cronenberg films before. Like
That's my thing, too. I'm usually not a big body horror fan, but I really enjoyed it. The story behind it's really good, too. And obviously, Margaret Qualley and Demi Moore are absolutely phenomenal.
Mhm. So you could speak more on that then. I mean, I can't say one way or the other if it would work as a house. I'm just going to say no because I haven't seen it, but
I think it would be, and again, this is just leaning into my bias and what I like. I think it would be a very liminal space-esque house. A lot of white walls, a lot of tile rooms, bathroom scenes. The special effects and the makeup and the costume design would be absolutely insane for the Eliza Sue monster and just the different forms of Elizabeth and Sue that you'd be able to see. And obviously you can have like the injection rooms and stuff like that, and seeing her inject the serum and just the way that it's played out. There's a lot of different scenes that you could use. You could use the workout set in the studio where Sue and Elizabeth did their show at. You can do the New Year's Eve scene, which is the big final scene, which I think that would be, well, I don't want to say too crazy for a house because they did a lot with the Terrifier hallway with the water, so they could definitely use the water effects. As for it being a house at Horror Nights, I feel like The Substance got a lot of good reviews, and it was pretty popular when it first came out, but I feel like it's maybe too obscure for Horror Nights. And I don't want to
yeah.
say no, because I think it would be a really fun house, and they could play with a lot of different effects and stuff that maybe sometimes it would be a very bright house. That's the only
Yeah, I mean,
thing. I think it would be hard to play on the dark aspect of this.
it got 5 Oscar nominations last year. It was up for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Original Screenplay, and then makeup and hair design. So I think you'll see a similar resume for Sinners when it's all said and done. But it was well received, that's for sure. 28 years later, this came out in June.
You know what I hate to freaking say? I could see them doing it. This would be something I wouldn't want because it's just so, again, end of the world, apocalypse, zombies, and you know what? They just love to eat it up. They love to do it. I feel like this would be another Quiet Place, that this would be so random. And it's like, it would make sense, obviously, because the new movie came out recently, but it's like, we've just seen the same thing so many times with that kind of setting or trope, I guess you would say. And yeah, I'm going to say maybe, because I wouldn't put it past, I wouldn't put it past him, honestly.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say no. I don't think they need to ever do. I don't want to say ever do, but like zombie IPs, like you could just make your own original. You know, like you can just do Descendants of Destruction and call it a day. Like you don't have to pay for rights. Zombies Universal. You can put it wherever, whatever storyline you want. Versus being like, you know what, we really need 28 years later. Like the name, I don't think it gets as much traction nowadays. This one's up your alley. Black Phone 2.
I was waiting for it. I don't even have to go into detail on this one. Yes, I do think we're going to get the Black Phone 2 next year. I feel like this is the most confident I've been about any of these that we've talked about in the 2 categories so far.
Yeah, we had them skating around this year.
We did have them skating around this year.
Out by Club Horror. Black Phone's been there before in half of a house capacity. I wouldn't be completely surprised by it. I'll put it as a maybe for sure.
Do you want to hear my theory? You can finish, though. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
What we got?
So my theory was that say goodbye to the old Blumhouse Scare Zone and pop-up. Club Horror is going to stick around. We are going to have the return of the Blumhouse house. It's going to go back in the Fast and Furious queue. Wait, no. Are they doing construction on that next year?
No, because they did have permits for it.
Okay. So
we are getting.
I don't stand corrected. I was going to say. So this is okay. My theory still stands. Okay. So we're going to have the Blumhouse house back. It's going to be double again. We're going to finally, as much as I don't want to say it, I really don't. It sickens me, honestly, to say it. But I think this is going to be our Megan Universe and Black Phone 2 mashup house. I think is how they're going to bring it.
I have Megan 2.0 on the list. I think we're done with Megan. I think that movie flopped so incredibly hard and everybody hated it so much that they want to steer clear from it now. That's
why I think it's going to be a Megan Universe kind of thing, because obviously everyone says the second one's a fucking superhero movie, which I have not even seen it and just don't understand.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I watched it. It's just an action comedy. It's not a horror at all.
But I think they're going to do me dirty. I really do. I think they're going to try to pair it up with something silly that I don't want to see mashed together with the Black Phone.
Now, I would put Black Phone at maybe. I'm going to put Megan and Megan 2.0 as a house as a 100%, 0% chance.
I'm going to put Megan as a maybe and the Black Phone 2 as a yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm not willing to say no to Black Phone 2, but I don't know if it's an exact yes or not, but it's close. And it would make sense. That movie actually did well. Megan 2.0 did not do well at all. So why would you want to put that banner up? You would have, if you wanted to capitalize on it, they should have done it before that movie came out because people do not care.
True.
You can sell as much merch as you want, and people will. Actually, they won't buy it. They didn't buy the Megan popcorn buckets. They're trying to give that shit away. They didn't buy the
popcorn bucket. I know.
And fucking those stupid little plastic faces staring at me. No, I did not at all. 1/2 movies, I guess /3, that all tie together but are not tied together that I'm going to say no to.
I know what you're going to say.
Nosferatu, Frankenstein, and the new werewolf movie that are coming out. And Bride, 4 of them. All of the Universal monster movies that are not Universal monsters, that are like not connected. You know, it's like all just people doing their own take. Like you had Guillermo del Toro doing Frankenstein. I just think no on all of those. I don't think you're going to mix up the classic Universal monsters that Horror Nights works with these new variations of them.
So I thought you were going to say the Strangers trilogy chapters that they have going on right now.
Didn't even talk about that. That could have been under Classic, I guess. Classic has never been there.
Yeah, well, they could have been under Classic. Look at me coming up with something. I'm going to say no off the rip for the ones you just said. Probably
I think so
not.
too. they're not going to want to complicate things.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The Conjuring Last Rites came out this last year. Did pretty well. Got received fairly well. So they finally pulled the trigger. We talked about it last year. It didn't happen.
We did talk about it last year, and this was the supposed last Conjuring movie. We'll see, because I feel like it's always supposed to be the last movie in a franchise, and it never ends up being. There's just always another
Everyone
one
wants a
somehow.
paycheck.
Everyone wants a paycheck, don't we all? But I think they might.
There will come a payday. Booyah, what a payday.
They might throw us a bone with this one, and maybe we will finally get the Conjuring universe at Horror Nights. Could
Now,
this
I
be
know
the
a lot
year?
of people started speculating that because of in the holiday tribute store, there's like a nutcracker that's like behind a case, very similar to
Oh, I
Annabelle,
did see people
where it's
posting
like,
about
don't
that.
tap
Uh-huh.
glass or blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's I think that's more of a funny nod than it is like a hint. And if they were to hint at anything, I don't think it would be that obvious. Like they don't want to just give stuff away and be like, oh, this means that's how. Like, and because of that, that makes me think no even more.
So I remember seeing that in the tribute. We saw that in the tribute store, and I didn't like even connect the two, thinking that would even be something like a hint or something. Yeah. So I'm gonna say maybe for The Conjuring.
Kind of like Scream. I've kind of been the boy who cries wolf too much. I'm just gonna say no. I've been saying Conjuring for too
That's
long
fair.
at this point.
Yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it. So that was the 2025 releases. Now these are the 2026 releases. These are all still under the umbrella of like new and hasn't been there before.
You missed
Or
one
not what?
for 2025.
What do you
Unless you were going to talk about it for something else. We're going to see it tomorrow.
I have it as 20. Oh yeah, that doesn't come out in 2026. Okay, well, I have that under the future releases, I guess.
Never mind. Okay.
Well, the first one right off the bat, I'm just saying yes. I'm wearing it. Stranger Things. Final season. Every season has been at Horror Nights. There's no reason for it to not be there. Obviously, the first 4 episodes dropped on the Thanksgiving or the day around the day before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
3 more episodes drop on Christmas. The final episode drops on New Year's Eve. I'm just saying yes, 1,000% yes. There's no reason. And do I want it? I don't know. I haven't seen the final season in completion yet, so I can't say for certain I want it or I don't. I do love Stranger Things, but I can also say I've seen stuff enough. I've seen it in 3 different houses now. The 4th one left to be desired. And maybe that's all the more reason to kind of like bring it back for the final season, make sure that they do it right, hit it out of the park, and like send everybody home happy. If you end on that one, I think it would upset because even the second house was kind of because they smashed seasons 2 and 3 together.
Flip-flops. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they like season 1 was really good. The second house with seasons 2 and 3 was fun because you got to see some of the stuff, but again, it was like it just felt awkward. And then season 4 played the hits for sure, but it was a little wonky at times. We had a lot of those weird little like corner like hallways with curtains and shit. And I was like, oh, cool. There's the clock just laying on the ground. It's like
the sand room.
yeah. And like I think I liked the house more than others just because I really liked season 4.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think this is a shoo-in?
I think Stranger Things is a shoo-in. Season 5. Stranger Things season 5, sorry.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a shoo-in. I think it would be a great send-off for the series. And like you said, I mean, we've had every season at Horror Night, so I don't see why they wouldn't bring it back again. And especially with all the hype surrounding the season, I mean, come on. The people would be hyped to have it back again, especially as like that little send-off. So I'm going to say it's a big yes for me.
Yeah, I think so too. The one that you were just alluding to, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, comes out in a couple days.
It does.
We'll see it tomorrow. But
yes,
we just had it. Do they bring it back the year immediately after?
As much as I'd like to, and I was excited to talk about this one, it's tough to say because I know the house was received very well, and obviously we saw it all season. It had pretty much one of the longest wait times for the whole run. So it's like, I know it was received well. Some of them the Cubs flew off the shelves. So yeah, the merch and everything else did pretty good too for majority of the things that they had. Obviously, I'd like to see it back just because I'm a fan of the franchise and games, as the most of you all know. But I feel do they want to invest and put that much effort into it with the animatronics and the puppetry like they did with Jim Henson's this year and all the design that went into it? I'm not really sure what the budgeting was for that, but I could assume they got it like that. So I don't think they're really worried about that. But it's like, do you want to wait a couple of years in between just to maybe keep it going so you can have that property still there in the future and not have it be a one and done thing? So I'm going to say maybe. Just because I feel like there's a lot of factors kind of not preventing it, but putting
it's
it in
definitely
that
not
middle
the last
spot for
movie
me.
either. Like, they're going to make this thing
That's what I mean. Do they
forever.
want to, like, they're not going to do it consecutive. Well, I can't say that because they had The Walking Dead for 5 years straight, so.
Yeah. No, I think this is a maybe. The biggest maybe is, like you mentioned, the animatronics. Like, are those Horror Nights? Did they buy those? Are they there? Can they just simply reskin them and just change the outfit on the skeleton of the animatronic?
That's my thing too.
You know,
Because
if
it's going
that's
to be
the
the
case,
toy.
yeah, if that's the case, I could say that's more likely than not. But I'll put it at maybe. It was clearly a huge success. It was at capacity every single stay and Scream.
Yep.
So the people loved it. So I'll put it at the maybe. This could have been considered a classic, but since there's a new one, I put it here. Insidious 6 comes out in August.
You know what? Insidious,
August 26th comes out.
It's already got a date?
Yeah, I think so. It's already done filming.
My God,
and everything,
they pissed
I believe.
me off.
I think this one's got Lynn Shay again, but I think she died in like the second one or the third one or whatever the fuck.
You know what? I'm not even going to get into it because it'll be a whole big spiel. I don't know how they.
Or the first one. She died in the first one, I think it was.
I think so too. And this is why all these franchises really, I love them. And then they start to piss me off because it's like, how do you just keep it going, man? I just don't.
It makes money. Because it makes money and you can make them cheap.
And all the dummies are going to eat it up, including myself.
I'm going to be there.
Including myself. No, I don't think we're going to see Insidious fucking 6
at the event. I'm putting no as well. I think it's, I don't think it's as high of a property to say yes for sure. And I don't know what this movie is. At least the last time when we had it and we had the Red Door was a culmination film where it had like, it brought you back to the first one.
You could do callbacks.
Yeah, I don't know what's in this movie. I don't know if it's like, I don't know.
I barely even knew this movie was coming. I had heard about it, and now it's already got a release date.
Yeah, it comes out in August. So yeah, I'm going to say no on Insidious 6. This one we talked about in the 2025 releases, but 28 years later does have a movie coming out in January. I think they filmed these movies back to back.
What's it going to be? 238 years later? I mean,
it's 28 years later. Calling the Bone Temple. I think it's a play on something that was in the movie.
I did hear about this.
It's not jumping forward any more years or decades or whatever, but it's I believe they filmed them back to back, so that's why it's so fast.
So funny.
But I'm still gonna say no on the 28 years later.
I'm still saying it, yeah.
Final film, but I do have one more thing that is technically a release.
Okay.
We do get Return to Silent Hill in January.
I was just gonna bring that up.
Yeah, so Silent Hill, could we see that return? Because it has been there in the past.
It has been there in the past, and I could see it making a return, honestly. I feel like it was pretty well received when they did have it. I was unfortunately a little baby wuss, and it was either I just didn't get to hit that house that year because before I was as big of a fanatic as I am now, enough to where I buy the frequent fear pass. Back in the day, I used to only go once, maybe twice when the tickets were cheaper because it was just like, screw it, $40, $50, whatever. Anyways, the year that they had it, I either just didn't hit that house that year, although I was scared thinking about it, or I didn't go that year. I don't recall. Long story short, I regret not having done it or not going that year because I did want to do it because I really enjoy the film. Never played the games. I do like the movie, though, a lot. I could see this being a great callback for it since it has already been at the event before. And depending how they want to do it, since this is kind of going to be, I guess it's supposed to be based off the second game, but also kind of a sequel to that first film that came out. So I think this would be the perfect opportunity to drop it. I could be mistaken. I think I sent you and Seamus the trailer, actually.
Yeah, and we were trying to figure out, like, what the fuck this thing is.
That's the only time I'd kept up with it, because at the end of the first Silent Hill, James was still looking for Rose, and then he goes back to the house and blah, blah, blah. So James and Rose are definitely still two in this. So they're from the first one. So I'm assuming it's kind of leading off from that. But now
Yeah,
James is in
we
Silent
kind of
Hill.
were looking at this before.
We
Let's
were.
see. So Silent Hill, I think one was just whatever. It did the whole redo of the series. And then the second one was a sequel. And then this is now a reboot, but it is based on the second Silent Hill video game.
The second game. That's what it was that I'm
So
thinking.
I don't
Second.
think this movie has anything to do with those two previous movies.
I think it might have to do with the first one because I thought the second one, the Silent Hill Revelations or whatever, I didn't think it had anything to do with the other one.
They say that this is the second installment in the...
Or maybe I'm a dumb idiot.
They say it's a sequel to Silent Hill 2020 or 2006.
Okay.
So I think it was a sequel to that first film. I don't know what they based it off of. I don't know if they based it off
that's
the
what
second
okay. So yeah, that's what I was thinking.
video game series as well. But this one is technically a reboot, but it's also written and directed by the same people that did the first one. So I
was
don't
gonna
know.
say it's from the same director too. That's why I thought. I was like, I'm not really
Same
sure.
director,
Hey,
same writer, but they refer to it as a reboot. I don't know.
you know what?
Well, I guess we'll see when it comes out.
I saw a lot of people talking shit about it. Honestly, kind of pissed me off because I was like, you know what? I'm usually a hater for stuff that people are hyping up, but you know what? I'm gonna hype this one up. I don't care if it's bad. I usually like bad movies all the time, anyways. But I'm really excited for it. The Silent Hill was scary. You can't tell me it wasn't. Especially when the friggin' I said this in the text the other day too. When the pyramid head rips the lady's skin off. Oh my god, traumatized me as a child. So it could be. It probably was back in the day. I'll probably watch a walkthrough after I record this, but it probably was a really scary house. So
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool to bring it back. I'm going to say yes. Crazy
Okay.
enough. No, I'm going to go with maybe.
You go maybe. I'll go.
I'm going to go maybe.
I'll go maybe as well, just because it's also kind of playing with that trend of video games that we've had recently. Five Nights, Last of Us, stuff like that. So it kind of, it could check a couple boxes. I don't think it's that likely, but I'll just say maybe just because of that, because HHN is fairly trendy in their picks once you start breaking stuff down a little bit. And then the last, technically not a movie, but this will be released. There's no date, but it says early 2026. And this ties in to pop culture more, but it also kind of sticks on the trend of a homage house to somebody that passed away. Ozzy's final concert was all recorded, and that is releasing in theaters. It's called Back to the Beginning, Ozzy's Final Bow. This obviously was filmed before his knowing that he was going to die. So they've been working on that behind the scenes to get this thing released, I think sooner rather than later. But with the Wyatt Six house last year, kind of giving Bray Wyatt the nod of their horror, their impact on horror and wrestling, kind of a subgenre. This could be a similar thing where they're giving the nod on, the horror influence of rock history with Ozzy. I don't know how it would be done. I don't know if they would just take music, or because I know Slash has been involved with Hollywood for a while. He usually just does soundtrack stuff. But I know we've had like an Alice Cooper house in the past, so it's not completely unprecedented that something like this could, again, sort of like Wyatt Six in wrestling, just find that way to bridge the gap between these weird subgenres and bleed it all together. You could get a little young blood guy in there or something talking super British about how much he loves Ozzy or whatever the fuck. What do you think?
I want to say no because, like you said, we've seen the musical artist house before. We've had the Rob Zombie Scare Zone. We've had the Alice Cooper house. And like you said, Slash has been involved with HHN Hollywood multiple times. I think it would be really cool to do. And obviously, I think they could play off the whole Prince of Darkness, Black Sabbath kind of music throughout the house thing. We haven't seen a musical artist since The Weeknd. Yeah, since The Weeknd.
Yeah.
Since
so
The
like
Weeknd
again,
was the
it's
last
still
one.
recent-ish. Not in the last year, but it's not completely outside the realm of possibility. Obviously, I think The Weeknd was a little bit more of a stretch than Ozzy is, if you're talking about horror. It still worked. I love the house, but it's easier to say Ozzy over Weeknd, I think.
Definitely, I think so too. I would say, I want to say a no, I'm probably gonna have to go no on this one. I want to. It's tough too because obviously it's like, oh, it's not too niche to have it because Ozzy was obviously huge. You know what I mean? Obviously, everyone knows who Ozzy Osbourne is, even if you're really not into rock music like that and stuff. But if they were to do it, it would be next year. Would be the year to do it, and I feel like, God forbid this sounds terrible, maybe they didn't have enough planning ahead of time to do something. If it was kind of sudden and stuff like that, and maybe it just wouldn't be put together as they want, and they wanted to really think this one out. But then again, I mean, never thought we'd get a Wyatt Six house, and here we are. So, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to say no for an Ozzy house.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tricky. I was trying to look up. I figured Ozzy's probably big enough that he's um self-published or at least owns the rights to all his stuff. Because I was like, man, what if he was under Universal or something like that at some point? Because I don't know who would own the rights. I don't know who they would talk to about this. Epic, it's part of Sony, so that's a different thing. Yeah, I don't know who would start those discussions. Um, I'm not going to completely say no, but I'm not going to say yes. I would say it's a tricky and weird enough situation where, like you said, like they start these HHN discussions far out. So, like, were they discussing this before? Did they rush to discuss this after the death? Like, is that?
And
I don't know. That's a
and
weird situation.
And that's the thing. I didn't want to say it to be like inconsiderate. Oh, like they were
He's not
planning,
going to
they were
listen.
like plotting on his deathbed, trying to figure this out. Like,
I gotta
man,
make money off
when
this.
this guy kicks the bucket,
Simply too good.
we have got to get this house up and running. But yeah, I feel like that's the thing. Like you said, I mean, we know they plan out years in advance. Sometimes, I mean, shoot, they have these ideas floating around all the time. So.
Goblin's Feast was tossed around for a decade by Charles Gray.
I mean, what are the odds that this would be the year that they wanted to, this year, talking for next year, be the year that they would want to do an Aussie house, and the odds of him passing away, unfortunately, this year just lined up like that. But I don't know. I think a little more planning needed to be done, or would need
I'll just
to be
say
done.
maybe just because of like the Bray Wyatt stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Again, talking about trends, like it's maybe not a great trend, but it's a in memoriam style house is something that we did see. So that kind of covers our basis for that, what I refer to as like new horror. I mean, I think the biggest ones that stand out for me are Stranger Things, obviously. Maybe Black Phone too. Yeah, I think those would probably be the two biggest ones that stand out.
I would say Stranger Things and Black Phone 2 as well. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't know what else I would throw in there. If Sinners wins an Oscar, I mean, they can't wait on that, but it's just, we'll see what happens. But the last of the IP things that I said I was looking for is kind of a HHN staple IP, something classic, tried and true, sort of like we had with Texas Chainsaw at 30, and then at 25 we had like that Walking Dead that's been done before, but tried and true. So this one hasn't been done as frequent or as often as the others, but it was rumored last year, and that would be Nightmare on Elm Street. We did just get Jason, so it does seem like nothing's impossible at this point. What do you think? Do you think this would be a good year to roll, dust Freddy off?
It would be a good year to dust friggin' Freddy off, because I would have taken him this year over Jason. So that would have really
Can't have
done
two
it.
Freddys. Can't have two Freddys in the same year.
I know, that's true. I didn't think about that. That's funny. Again, I mean, hey, I would say I wouldn't want to get my hopes up for having Nightmare on Elm Street or Freddy Krueger at the event, because we have had him in the past, same as Jason, and everyone thought we wouldn't get Jason again or anytime soon, and look at us. Jason got that little reprisal for the Jason Universe Angry Orchard sponsorship thing, and
we talked about Jason on last year's Way Too Early predictions. I said yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I said yes, but I'm saying I said yes.
I was just going to say, let it be known too that Nick said we are usually pretty good at these guesses. Nick is usually pretty good at these guesses, and Seamus gets a couple of them occasionally too. I just usually chime in and agree with what they say, and you're like, you know what, I was thinking that too, but then obviously I didn't say it first, so it looks like it wasn't my idea.
Well, obviously on this episode, I put out like 60 ideas, so that way in August, I can come back to this episode, cherry pick all the ones that were right, and be like, look what I did. Be like, don't listen to the 45 minutes of stuff
I
that
had
was
them on
wrong.
the list. That was on the list.
We're like, yeah, well, the list is 100 fucking things. Of course you got something right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, back to the
That's the
topic
point.
of Freddy.
Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger, not Freddy Fazbear, not to be confused.
He just got his star on the Walk of Fame. The
He
Hollywood Walk
did.
of
Robert
Fame.
Englund finally got a star on the friggin' Walk of Fame. Should have been a long time ago. I'm going to go with a maybe for Nightmare on Elm Street to come grace us with its presence next year.
Yeah. I said it with Jason last year. I'll say it with this year for Nightmare. I'll say yes.
Okay.
I think you need to step away, but I also know
We
what the
need
other
that
options are
energy.
that I put. So
Okay.
I want it the most out of all these things. Next up, Halloween. It's been there all the time.
Bring him back.
It has been a little bit, but again, that's something you can
It's
pencil in
only
and
been
people
like
are going to wait for.
4 years, 3 or 4 years. It's been a little bit.
It's been a little bit. But obviously, it's the most accessible out of all these slashers. It's the easiest for them to obtain, clearly. They've probably touched on all of the ones you want to touch on, except Season of the Witch, which I've just abandoned hope at this point, as I just am never going to get anything that I want. No, I had a pretty good year last year, but they've obviously done like Halloween 1, Halloween 2. I think they did Curse, so that was 4.
4 or 5, maybe.
You can kind of, maybe the new stuff gets, touched on, the new trilogy. But for HHN35, Halloween, you see a banner? Do you see that hanging?
I do.
Yeah?
Then again, I can always
You're going to go
picture
yes on
Mikey.
Halloween?
I'm going to go yes on Halloween. I could always picture Mikey at the event. Anniversary year, Mikey, big name, has been there on anniversary years before, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to say yeah. It's been a little bit. I thought we were going to get him last year, honestly.
I'm going to say no because I said yes on Nightmare.
No? Oh, okay.
Just because I think I can only have one, and if I can will something into existence, it would be Nightmare over Michael Myers. Because I've seen him.
I would definitely pick Nightmare on Elm Street over Halloween or Michael Myers, but likelihood, I think we would probably get Michael over Freddy.
Halloween's definitely more likely, but I'm gonna go with Nightmare just because if I could will in Jason last year, I'm gonna will in Freddy this year, and I want all of the credit if it happens, and I want nobody to say anything if it doesn't. I put Stranger Things on this because it's kind of an in between. It's a new release, but it's also a staple. It's been there 3 times, so we don't have to talk about it. Saw. It's not really a staple, but it's been there before. It's a classic. You got Billy the Puppet or Jigsaw or whatever. People know that. There was supposed to be another movie, but it
again another movie with 24 prequels
Saw
and
11.
sequels and oh my god, Spiral, Saw X, whatever.
Saw X was really good, but
what happened was... Is that actually a thing? Saw X is a... I literally was just...
That was the most recent one.
That
was really good.
Okay. Oh,
no, it was actually surprisingly very good. It was like a prequel.
Which one?
I think it takes place before Saw, or I think it's like in between Saw 1 and Saw 2, or it's like early stages John Kramer, but the rights just got sold back, I think, to like James Wan and Lee Winnell at Blumhouse, because I think it was under Twisted Pictures, because they made it under Twisted Pictures, I think, and obviously they've gone to do other things now. And now that I think
is it under Atomic Monster?
And Atomic Monster and Blumhouse are like kind of together. They obtained the rights back to the Saw franchise, so it's coming home to James Wan and Lee Winnell that created it, and I think that scrapped the plans of what was supposed to happen with 11. And they are working on something to future that, to push that franchise further. Nothing has been filmed or written or announced, but I just saw as itself. Do you think that would be something for this year?
No, personally not. I feel like...
I say no too.
I don't want to say that Saw is not a big name, because it is, but I'm just only saying that because I'm really not into Saw movies like that. But there's some diehard Saw fans out there, let me tell you, and I am unfortunately not one of them. Again, goes back to the body horror stuff that I was saying that I don't like much.
Yeah,
but I
like
the substance.
It. I think maybe in a couple of years, once they come out with another one that's a little bit more fresh and not getting rebooted or restarted or whatever they're ending.
Yeah, because the last one I saw was with, what's his name? Chris Tucker? Is that his name?
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock?
Spiral.
Spiral. That one was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was decent.
Terrible. I hated that one.
I didn't mind that one. That was kind of crazy.
It was very not
The
Saw.
guy got
It was
his,
like a
like,
detective movie.
I feel like that's why I liked it more. It's
Yeah,
kind of detective, like
it was just a detective movie.
little dead silency, kind
Just a
of.
bunch of research. It was, yeah, no. And then the last on my list for like an HHN IP staple would be Chucky, that little redheaded bastard.
You know what? The Chuck's got some really good luck on his side because they love showcasing that little redheaded guy.
They sell his shit every year.
More and more of it every year too. Every
Even
time we
if
go
he's
to the
not there,
parks,
they're
even if
making
he's
money.
not there, every time in the 5 and dime, I'm like, when did they get all this Chucky stuff? And it's just always more and more of it. But hey, I mean, I guess it's a whatever. But as much as I think we don't need Chucky, I'm gonna say a maybe on the Chucky house. I think they kind of want to redeem themselves a little bit from the ultimate kill count.
Ultimate kill count. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm gonna say no because
Okay.
they want to stay away from kill count.
Oh,
They don't
okay,
want. They
okay.
want that thing. They want for people to forget. And at this point, people have not forgotten.
Think we'll get a bride at Chucky house to bring it back. Bring it back
Yeah,
for
I
him?
mean, that was probably the best scene of the house. But no,
Yeah,
I
right.
think they're done with Chucky for a while as
Mhm.
far as a house.
Okay.
You know, and kind of step away from that. Oh, okay. Well, that was all I had for the HHN IP staples. But another one that, if we want to go all the way back up to the front of classics that have never been here before, I completely forgot about one. That Gremlins.
Again, I'm really not a
People want it.
Jimmy would hate me if I say this, and I have to say it. I'm really not a Gremlins
You don't like it?
fan.
You
Not
don't
a
like
huge
it? It's fine.
Gremlins fan. No, haven't really seen them like that. I've seen the first one. Don't even know if I've seen the second one, honestly. But yeah, just I've really had that special connection to Gremlins. I mean, they're really cute, but then again, every time I would watch it, I feel like I didn't like it as much, especially when I was younger trying to watch it, because I felt really bad when they were mean to Gizmo. And they weren't really mean to him, but just like I would feel so sad when he would like get water on him or just like look so sad. And I'm like, I can't watch this. They're being so friggin' mean to him when the other green Gremlins came out and stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of and you're right, the people do want it, which is surprising to me because I feel like maybe it's just because I'm not as knowledgeable about it, but I don't even know how it would work as a house. Just a bunch of little
It would
gremlins
be
flying around, or
it would be a tricky house to pull off. It would be a
yeah,
comedy. It would be a comedy house.
right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get out of the IPs. We're done. We talked about all the IPs we need to.
No
I told you
IPs.
my categories that I was looking for, you know, the stuff like that. So let's get
That was a
into
lot.
originals.
Okay.
It was a lot. This is less. We're,
No, it was very organized though. I
Yeah.
liked it.
So the IP, or not the IPs, the originals. This is what I'm looking for in originals. We're looking for an icon house,
Okay.
which I think is probably going to take the least amount of discussion, because you had icons captured at 30, and then you had Jack Presents at 25. I'm also looking for an HHN original staple, something that's been around for a while. We had Case Files at 30, which again, we talked about the Boris Schuster stuff. And then you had Body Collectors at 25, which is something that's been around the block for a little bit. So let's just talk Icons House, Jack versus Oddfellow, Civil War, just copy Marvel beat for beat with Civil War, Captain America, and do Oddfellow and Jack. You teased it in El Artista. Something is happening. This is as close to 100% for me as Stranger Things is, because you're not going to do an anniversary year without Jack the Clown. You're just not. And since then, we've had Oddfellow, which was not necessarily his complete counterpart, but adversaries at best. They both dislike each other. Oddfellow for Jack bringing all of the nonsense to his circus, and Oddfellow hating him for stealing his cane of souls. So there's bad blood between the two. So it has to come to head at some point. I don't think you wait until like an odd or an even year, like 40. I think 35 is the closest anniversary. You pull the trigger. It's been a couple years on both of them. If it's not the Jack versus Oddfellow Civil War house, there is a icon house. There has to be. There just has to be. It's going to be there in some way, shape, or form. I don't know who, but I can tell you there's a 0% chance we don't see Jack or Oddfellow at 35, I would say. What do you think?
I think you're pretty spot on with that. I think that might be our most confident speculation or guess on this little list that we got here, especially since in the Easter egg in Artista. Sorry, had to think about it for a sec. But yeah, like you said, I think this would be the year to do it. If they're going to do it, I don't think they should wait any longer, especially since when we did have Oddfellow, it wasn't too long ago at this point that it's kind of been irrelevant. He's still definitely relevant. And like you said, I mean, they're not going to have an anniversary year without Jack. You just have to. You have to.
No, the moneymaker. The only thing that's a little tricky is him being in Vegas now too, like, does it make it less special?
I don't think it
I
makes
mean,
it less special because I ain't going to friggin' Vegas. I haven't seen him since he's been here.
yeah, that's my
I'm
my
not
thing as well.
going. Yeah.
I know a lot of people from Orlando have gone, but they went that one time, and that was kind of it for the most part. I don't think him being in Vegas affects the ability or their wanting for him to appear back in Orlando. So just pencil it in. Jack the Clown's back. He has to be.
Jack is
Um,
back.
and that's just my opinion, but makes sense. So I don't have anything else for icons. I don't know what other icon style house you would do. Captured, I think, did a fun job at like hitting, a lot of the major ones. So I'm just going to leave it as Jack versus Oddfellow. Now, the HHN staple, I only have 3. You might be able to pull more, and I only have 3 because I forgot to go back to this list and add more after work. But I got 3. The first one I think would probably be the most likely because it has been the longest since we've seen it. And that would be something in the psychoscarapy world.
Yeah.
We saw it at 2003, 2006, 2007, 2010, and 2015. So it's been around. It was at houses. It was in scare zones. I think this would be a good year to sort of bring of that back in some capacity.
I think so too. Psychoscarapy is a very well-known name for the longtime HHN community goers, and one that I'm very familiar with as well. And I feel like as many different niche and things that Horror Nights has done and that we usually see even from other haunts and stuff like that, other than psychoscarapy, I feel like we never really have like an asylum sort of house, or that kind of hospital-y sort of thing. So
Yeah, if they want to do one, they just do this.
yeah, which I like, and we haven't had that in a while. And I mean, there hasn't been nothing really similar to it, so I think it would be a great opportunity to bring it back, especially for an anniversary year. And since it's been done plenty of times in the past, they would easily be able to make another psychoscarapy spinoff, like how they did for the psychoscarapy Home for the Holidays or something like that.
And it's the last time was at 25. It was at an anniversary year 10 years ago. The other one was also last at 25, and that would be something in the body collector's world. Yeah, 2005, 2008, and 2015. So not as many iterations, but still enough to be like, oh, that's HHN. What do you think on body collectors?
I would say that I think the body collectors would be more likely than psychoscarapy, maybe just because it hasn't been done as much, but it still has been done in the past. I feel like the story behind body collectors is really cool. It can get really dark, especially had to go to the earlier event when they had the first body collector's house in 2005 and watching the projections on the outside of the building at the soundstage when they had it, and I was terrified and ended up not going in the house. So I would really like to redeem myself in that aspect, and it would be really cool to see the what is it, the gentleman. They're
The gentleman, yeah.
the gentlemen. Yeah, I really like them and their look. So it would be nice to see that, a little bit nostalgic, but also still scary and can still be relevant enough to where some people might know about it, but still, I guess, be intriguing enough for people wanting to go through the house. So I'm going to say a maybe on this one, but I think more likely than psychoscarapy.
Yeah, because 25 body collectors had the house with the recollections.
Yes.
And psychoscarapy had the scare zone at 25.
Correct.
So they're both there, but different things. I would pick psychoscarapy over that. I know it's had more iterations, but it was a house further away because it was only a scare zone at 25.
I'd be happy
So I
either
think that'd
way.
be fun.
Would be cool. The callbacks.
2 more. I had the Scarecrow / Wicked Growth, something in that world, because they were kind of not necessarily tied together, but we had 2017, and then at 2022 we had the scare zone of Scarecrow, and then we had Wicked Growth. It had a similar vibe. I feel like you could put those 2 together if you really wanted to. You think we revisit the Scarecrow world? That is in Vegas as well, so they've touched on it recently. It's been at Hollywood recently.
It's at Hollywood this year.
It's a it's a big name in the HHN world.
A
lot of people say it's the scariest house of all time.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I'm going to say no, just because we did see it at Hollywood this year. It is at Vegas. Sorry, we were just talking about it. It's at Vegas, and apparently it's the same iteration or the same layout that they had in Hollywood, or the one here. I forgot which one people were saying it was. But it's like, do you do a sequel Scarecrow house? Do you kind of go more of the Wicked Growth route? Would that be too close in between and too similar of things we've already seen to kind of make it something new and fresh for an anniversary year? I don't know about Scarecrow. I'm leaning towards no.
Yeah, I don't know. Uh,
You're thinking
maybe.
maybe. You're thinking maybe,
I'm thinking
huh?
maybe just because
Uh-huh.
of the whole like Pumpkin Lord icon in between anniversary
I
years.
feel like
Like,
they're over Pumpkin Lord.
I don't think so. I think
Really?
they
I
just
think they're done with him.
no. He's got to come
Everyone
back.
made
He's
fun of
too good.
him. Everyone
Yeah,
made
well,
fun of
they made
him.
him all farty and stuff. So,
I know.
um, do you think? And I don't have the dates on any of this stuff because it's been
Mhm.
sprinkled throughout. But like
Yeah.
anything in the Cary, Ohio world, we had it. Welcome to Scary at 30. So they
Mhm.
kind of did it then. They played the hits. They did, Meaty Meats, the Schoolhouse,
Yeah, they
the
did.
Orphanage, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Do you think we revisit Cary? Whether that is a Meaty Meats, whether that's a what the fuck's the
HR
guy's
Blood and
name? Blood
Frickin'
and
Guts needs
Guts.
to come back, and if Aiden, Dreamport Productions, listen to this episode, I know he's definitely down for HR Blood and Guts to come back to the event. And again, this would be a great year to bring it back. We've only seen the Holidays of Horrors house that he had in the past. I want to say that was in 2011, 12,
Yeah,
maybe. One of those mid-earlier years. And man, was it a good house. But there's just so much more to him and the whole Cary, Ohio lore that you could easily incorporate Cary and throw him in the house, throw something in there with meats, kind of do something like Welcome to Cary like they had before, but I think a little more in depth, not focusing on so many different things, but maybe picking one or two stories and kind of trying to connect them. I think work well.
I think you should. We kind of talked about it this previous year when there was this like Cary, Ohio TV station rumor where it was like, just do like HR Blood and Guts, but put him in Late Night with the Devil. Like make him
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah,
late
yeah.
night talk show host.
That'd be
Do
super
something
cool.
like that. That would be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I had for like HHN staples. So the only other things we have to talk about, and we don't have to spend too much time on these, would be just original ideas, something that is completely fresh, completely new. It happens every year. Um, Anything in the alien sci-fi world. It's been a little while. I mean, Invasion's been talked about for a while. Whether it's been rumors or people just trying to will it into existence. Do you think we see anything in that sci-fi realm this year? Not feeling it.
Probably not. Not really feeling it. No, I know there has been some. There was the Alien Badlands or Predator Badlands show that came out. Something came out on Hulu. There's
Yeah.
another alien thing or something coming out. I don't know. I can't keep another one. Again, can't keep up with all the alien predator stuff that they come out with.
I'm thinking more just like
Or
an HHN original, not an IP.
I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. I forgot we're doing originals. I mean, maybe. I mean, we haven't really had too many sci-fi kind of originals since what?
It's been a while.
Invasion? It has been a while, yeah.
Invasion was Scare Zone. Seek and Destroy was
Yeah.
Scare Zone.
Well, yeah, a lot of them have been scare zones since recent. I'm gonna say no.
I'm going to say yes. I don't know what it's
Yeah?
going to be, but I think
Okay.
we'll have some sort of alien-y sci-fi house. I don't know if it's a
Alright.
comedy. I don't know if it's a serious thing, but I would like to see it. Hamikuma.
No.
No. Yeah.
They're
I
not
think they
gonna
keep
let
it in
us have
Japan.
them. I know they're not gonna let us have them. It's okay.
No, I think it stays there.
Yes.
Um,
Still fun. We got the merch. I'll take it.
yeah. I don't know if I've said this theory on the podcast before, but I've shared it to some people. Cat Lady of Crooked Lane. I would like to see this. This is my theory. I'd like to see this done as Christmas. And instead of her turning trick-or-treaters, I want her to turn Christmas carolers into little cats. And you could put them in like little Christmas sweaters, and you could have like Christmas lights on her house.
Why
you
have
could
I
have,
not heard this theory? What do you mean you've been telling
I thought
people?
I've told you about this.
No, I'm just gonna say, who's he been telling?
No, I told people about this one. But like, I think you just do her, instead of Halloween, you dress it up as Christmas. So like there's presents, there's old
That's
toys. There's, instead of trick-or-treaters, it's Christmas carolers.
Mm-hmm.
How cool would a little naked cat with a Christmas sweater on it be?
It would be pretty cool.
Be pretty cute.
It
Be pretty cute.
would be pretty cute.
I instead of soup,
Kitten
she's serving like
mittens.
hot cocoa. Like,
Oh, I get it.
you could just supplement this as our Christmas house.
Yeah,
Just
and
do
I was
Cat
just gonna
Lady
say
Christmas.
that would be our holiday house too. Yep.
You could put lights on the house. You could put all the creepy old decor out there. I mean, you have all the decorations for Christmas already. I'd love to see this because I don't want to see this from Scare Zone to House be exactly the same thing.
I think it would be, I mean, obviously it'd be more in depth in the house too. I think they could do a lot more expansion in it, that it wouldn't be too similar, but it would be fun seeing like familiar things. But I do see what you're saying. I do.
Yeah, like I know that they definitely could expand, and it's I think one way or the other we're getting this. Maybe not necessarily 100% this year, but it's going to be a house at some point. It has to. It's got too much story involved to put it to the wayside. So at some point, I'll say yes for this year. But
Okay.
and then the only thing, I don't know why or when I added this to my notes app, because I started this notes app like before this season even started. I do my way too early stuff. When something comes into my brain, I put it into this notes app and I save it for this episode. So I've been working on this since like July. So there's crazy stuff on here. Half of it doesn't make sense. I think 2 years ago, I said Mexican luchadors for some reason, and then it turned into a Scare Zone in Hollywood. So maybe somebody's listening. But I put Chinese lore, like some sort of Asian lore, because we had the monsters of Latin America. We've done like museum was very cultured. We had Galkin monsters of the North. We've had chupacabras. So we've had like these different regional horrors. And I know Seamus he's not here tonight, but I'm sure he's at his house right now hearing these words and screaming, do it, do it, do it. So something, I don't know if it's necessarily Chinese, but something in that Asian world, whether it's like the monsters of those areas or like I don't know, something in that world. Do you think that would be a thing that could happen?
I could definitely see that being a thing because, like you said, I feel like they have explored several different cultures, but we haven't really dove into the Japanese or Chinese culture and different lore from folktales and whatnot that they have as well, like we've seen in Monstros and, like you said, chupacabras and stuff like that, and even Gulkin and whatnot. So I could see this being on a maybe side.
Yeah, I'll put it at maybe as well, just because
Yeah.
I want to see it. And I think we've talked about it for years at this point. So
We
one of
have.
these years I'm gonna be right. That's really all I had. The only other thing I put was Icon's stage show.
That'd be fun. Jack used to have the stage shows, which was really cool. I mean, they all kind of did, which was fun. Terra
Yeah,
Queen
so-
had her little intro kind of deal show.
Yeah, so that's all I had. So those are our way too early HHN35 predictions. There was a bunch in there. I guess this is more of like a idea episode versus like a predictions episode, because this is not just like lying down to like
Still fun.
10 houses, Scare Zones, whatever.
Mhm.
We do usually in January, once the new year starts, do our guest map. I like to try to make a what people always share. Obviously, we share as well the Horror Night Nightmare speculation maps. I like to make a guest map before like rumors and start picking up, because I like to test
Yeah.
myself to see how right I am or how wrong I am. So I would expect us to revisit some of these come January, which is weirdly enough only a month away at this point. So
Crazy.
we're not too far out episode wise of our guest map episode. So that's what we got this week. Next week we can finally start talking about real stuff. The permits came out like weeks ago at this point, and we haven't touched on those at all because we wanted to knock out our recap episodes, our way too early predictions episode, our award show. We had a lot going on, and I didn't want to talk about that stuff until at least after all of those. And I like to talk about this stuff before rumors come out. I think there's some, but I've kind of stayed off of Discords and community servers because I like to do these fresh. I like to do these. I just like to be creative. I like to show that I can think along the same lines as people that make this event. So I'm hoping that I'm right. We'll see. Maybe this is my audition. Just pick me. But yeah, so this is always a favorite episode of mine. And I look forward to this one every year. It helps soften the blow of Horror Nights ending. That's for sure. So I think that's all I got. Did we hit on everything you had thought about? Okay. All right. So I did good. Good job, Nick. Way to go. All righty. Well, let's get on out of here. It's almost time to start doing other stuff. We are fast approaching the opening of the Spookeasy.
Yay.
I got little name tags. We have some of our movies, I think, selected for December.
We do.
And we're going to start filming those soon, hopefully. It's
Yes.
just a matter of getting all of my other work and side projects and bullshit aside. So, yeah, that will be coming soon. Sorry about the delay on that, but I want to make sure that it is done right.
Yes.
So, until next time, this is Nick.
This is Jamie.
Happy haunts. Thank you for listening to another episode of Fear and Beer, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on whatever streaming platform you are listening to us on. You can find us on all of our socials at Fear and Beer Pod.